Orpheus, the son of Apollo, and the muse Calliope, the god of music, and Calliope, the muse of epic poetry. This divine parentage gave him extraordinary musical talent. Orpheus's lyre, which could charm animals, trees, and even inanimate objects, was a gift from Apollo himself. Orpheus was considered the greatest of all musicians in Greek myth, with his melodies having the power to influence both the gods and mortals. The cult of Orpheus. While most people are familiar with Orpheus's love for Eurydice, Orpheus was also a religious figure. He became the central figure in a mystical cult known as Orphism, which was based on the belief in the transmigration of souls and an afterlife. His followers believed that Orpheus, having journeyed to the underworld and returned, had special knowledge of life after death. Orphic teachings included elements of self-purification, asceticism, and the worship of Dionysus. They also focused on the idea that the soul was immortal, and through purity, one could ascend to a higher divine existence. Orpheus's rejection of women. After Orpheus lost Eurydice for the second time, his grief led him to renounce the love of women. He became a symbol of the cult's rejection of earthly desires. In some versions of the myth, Orpheus withdrew from human society and devoted himself entirely to the worship of Apollo and the pursuit of divine knowledge through music. His rejection of women angered the Maenads, followers of Dionysus, who saw Orpheus as a challenge to their god's powers. The Maenads ultimately tore Orpheus apart in a frenzied, violent attack. Orpheus and the gods. Despite his musical genius, Orpheus had a complex relationship with the gods. Apollo, his father, was proud of his son's talent but also wary of his influence. Dionysus, however, was not pleased with Orpheus's rejection of women and his refusal to worship him. This conflict with Dionysus culminated in the Maenads' violent retribution, but it was also a turning point for Orpheus. It was said that after his death, Orpheus was transformed into a constellation, symbolizing the eternal nature of his music and spirit. Orpheus's legacy. Orpheus's legacy goes beyond his mythological narrative. He represents the power of art, the belief in transcendent beauty, and the eternal struggle between human desires and divine mandates. His story continues to be a metaphor for the complexities of love, loss, and the search for meaning. His influence on literature, music, and even philosophy remains profound, with many artists throughout history drawing inspiration from his myth.